All right, guys, we're here, and I've got literally my most favorite bait in my hand, no doubt, chatterbait fishing this morning. And we got a little wind-blown bank, which is always good. I can see a little bit of bait fish jumping around. That just lets me know that there's actually food on the buffet table for the bass. We're just kind of burning down the banks right now, not really, you know, pinpointing anything. There's one that he was just out there roaming around. And that's where you let the wind play, you know, help you out. So the big deal is what I'm doing is just kind of fishing down the windy banks. These fish aren't really holding on to anything, which normally they don't this time of year. Got a little fat belly feeding back up. And you're just kind of letting the wind be your friend, so to speak. You've heard that term. I know it's kind of a cliche. Sometimes too much wind is, you know, not your friend, but right now we got a nice little breeze blowing in here to this shallow bank. Like I said, I can see the bait fish jumping out. It's the perfect time to pick up that chatterbait. This is the ChatterBait Evo. The thing that I really feel like sets the Evo apart is number one, it's when you make a cast with a chatterbait or a bladed jig, whatever you want to call it, you want that blade to immediately engage when you engage your reel. And what I'm talking about there is, as soon as that bait hits the water and I engage my reel and start the retrieve back, I want that blade to start working. I want it to start vibrating. I want to be able to feel it. And that's what we've done with this. We've went through a series of blades. We went through a series of hole diameters in the blade to where it connects to the nose of the bait. Mission accomplished, I guess is what you could say. The other thing that we wanted this bait to do, we wanted to make sure that the blade itself hit the jig head. I'll show you when I get this one in. That one just loaded up. I was too busy talking, excited about talking, and wasn't fishing. That fish got it really good. I'll show you guys on this head. And now this one that I have in my hand here has been run through the rigors. So when you have a bladed jig, as you can see, right on the nose of this bait, right in front of the eyes, that's where that blade is making contact. And what that'll do is when you're retrieving that bait back to you, it has a very, very good hunting action. And hunting action is when that bait is tracking true, and then it just, all of a sudden it goes off to left to right, and then it comes back tracking straight at you. And that's very important because this is a reaction bait. I mean, this is a bait that you're trying to get that fish to react to. And with that hunting action, it really enables this bait to there's another one. How about that? It really enables this bait to entice these fish. That's pretty crazy. That's two really, really quick. Just a nice little chunky pound and a halfer, pound and 3/4. I want to show you something else about the blade, or about the head design. And we're going to stamp all of them on the back end to let you know how heavy they are. But if you'll see these two little, I don't know, I call them wings on the head. We had some, they were smaller, I wanted them bigger. Because when I make a cast out there and I'm retrieving that bait, if I take my rod tip or speed my reel up just a little bit, it makes that bait glide. And it just, like I said, it'll just jump off track just a little bit, and then it'll slowly come back to me, you know, straight back on my retrieve. So it has a very, very unique hunting action. I just feel like that little small cone, along with those little glide wings on it, really enable this bait to be totally different. You know, I think the biggest reason, guys, that this bait is so effective is you have it's almost like a combination of 3 different baits in one. You've got the vibration of say a square bill, the look of a swim jig, and you also have kind of the feel of like a Colorado bladed spinnerbait. So that it's kind of all balled up in one bait. A lot of forage that fish feed on have that same profile. And I just think with the vibration, with the very erratic action, the hunt for center, you know, that action where the bait jumps off track and comes back, it just makes it look like and feel like a you know, a bait fish trying to get away. I wanted to put a bigger, longer shanked hook on it. This is a 5/0 hook. 2 reasons. Put it in my hand and I'll show you. 2 reasons. One of the reasons is I wanted the point of this hook further away from my head of the end blade. When you get hung up, I won't say I can do it every time, but just about every time I can pop my line and the length of that point away from the head allows that bait to move and it'll come unhung. That is a very, very big point. The reason that I wanted this longer shank hook. The other reason is the distance of the blade tip to the point tip. I wanted it to be a little bit long, a little bit more separation right there. When a fish hits, they can clamp down on it and unclamp, lickety split. I wanted a big gap in there. I wanted that hook point to be free, clear of everything. So that's 2 reasons that I really felt like a longer shank hook was going to be a little better. You know, you hear me talk about different trailers and when I like to use specific trailers, and the one thing about this bait is we've also introduced a new trailer, and it's called the ChatterSpike, and it's just a kind of a pintail style trailer, and that really, it gives it the bulkiness. Okay, you got the bulk of the trailer, but this little tail allows that bait to really have some crazy action. And I think it doesn't hinder the action of the bait itself. The deal with the new ChatterSpike is that it allows that bait to really work freely. As you can tell, it has the little tail, pintail on the end of it. And when I bring it out, you can see the little V-shaped grooves up in there, and that really allows that bait to work freely from the back end. And the best thing about it is it makes that dude go crazy. The sun still hasn't gotten high today, and a lot of times, you know, if the higher the sun get, the tighter those fish are going to get on those stumps in that grass. But right now what we're trying to do is just trying to catch the tail end of this little morning breeze. You know, the conditions call for it to be light and variable. So any time that you've got breeze, man, that's the time to cover water and make a lot of fan cast. What I've done as we work through that area, we caught a couple on that black and blue. I'm gonna come right back through here with a white. A lot of times, if you get around, you know, multiple fish, there's one right there. A lot of times when you get around multiple fish, if you will, you know, fish through the area, turn right back around and go, oh, come here. Turn right back around and go through it with a different color. And I changed everything up, really, if you think about it. I changed the trailer, I changed the color, as well as throwing a gold blade now. And that one, I mean, I had made 4 or 5 casts with it, and that dude right there lit it up. So remember that. I mean, a lot of times, I absolutely love fishing windy banks and grass, over the top of grass, and you get wind on top of grass, that's even better. And I'll make a pass through there with a certain color. And if you catch a few fish, turn right back around and just pick up a different color. And we went totally on the totally other end of the spectrum. Black and blue, white. Made about 4 or 5 casts with it. Was just talking about it, and bam, there's another one. How about that little guy? Now like I said, we just came through that little area right there with that black and blue. That one's not very big. Now I've teamed this one up, same Evo. I've teamed him up with one of my favorite, and that's the old razor shad. All right, guys, we talked a little bit about the new Evo as far as the blade design, the snap design, the head design, and the hook design. But one of the things that really excites me is how the keeper is. You know, this has a little molded piece on the hook shank itself, as well as the wire keeper here. So just the way I rig this thing up, let's put this bait on there, and I'm gonna slide it till it goes up and over the bend of the hook. Bring it out, and I'm gonna push it all the way up. So with that molded keeper system on the hook shank itself, it just enables me to put that bait on there. It's gonna be there when I'm done fishing with it. All right, let's talk a little bit about the rod reel line setup on the Evo that I was throwing today. Legend Bass Tournament Series rod. This is a casting rod, 7.2 heavy moderate. It's called the Rip and Chatter rod, and I'm throwing 14-pound Gamma Edge fluorocarbon line, and I got the Lew's Tournament Pro 7.5 to 1. I really can't emphasize enough on the 7.5 to 1. I just feel like that gear ratio is the perfect gear ratio for any chatterbait fishing. Guys, I really and truly, I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on this bait. Not only do you get good vibration, but you also get the erratic action of when that blade hits that head. It'll make that bait jump off center and then come back tracking true. We call it Evo for a reason. It's a new evolution of chatterbait fishing, and this is it right here, guys.